right? The galaxy force. Oh yeah, we've had some decoration updates, but so this right here, I was working on. I just had to get something going for the hover core. I've asked AI for help. I ask AI for help all the time, all the time. Um, but so let me see if we can iterate at all on the hover core because I did. Oh, you guys haven't even seen this. You haven't even seen this. That's not even out yet. That's not even. I forgot. I realized I haven't even dropped that. Dang, y'all. The Hoverhead's getting a sneak peek. So this is my 18th dimensional Time Machine Studio recycler, which we also initiated. Last night was a night of discoveries. A night of discoveries. A lot of this stuff won't be out until I drop the full videos because I don't clip out the lives as much as I used to. Just it's time consuming. Yeah, you guys got a sneak peek. That's not really even dropping until tomorrow. Really made. I don't mind showing the hoverheads at all, but really made progress. Really made progress on the central. I mean, the faster this data gets out there, the better. Anyway, it never hurts. You know, when you try to hold videos, like, oh, I'm gonna put it out later. No, that doesn't work. Not with science, at least. You got to get it all out right away. So, even though when you see the videos, you'll be like, oh, I already saw that. Well, yeah, but now you'll be able to see the tests in action. Let me go ahead and just do a live test for you. I wouldn't normally, but you guys haven't seen this one, and I haven't dropped the video, so it's on me. See, so this doesn't have any front components right now because I only have 2 core arrays, so I'm really only testing the middle part. But seeing how easily it goes over stuff. See, it's still not that bad, but I mean now it's a little bit worse as this is dried out, but that's to be expected. Only thing I really have to fix is the degree of this angle here. Oh, whoops. Because it's still hitting too hard right there. But let me tell you, are we getting some fission? Some fission through here? Like you wouldn't believe. So this I call the quantum gate. How does the time machine work? It's really a passive time machine. But you have to realize what is time to understand what a time machine truly is. A lot of people don't have a conception, but a true conception. But time is literally the derivation of space, right? And so because of that, it's really a passive. It's really a passive thing that's going on. So what I'm doing when I control, well, first of all, the time machine itself is a low entropy machine, right? Because it's a designed space. For instance, imagine if I didn't have this space and instead I was doing my tests on my kitchen table and I was asking you guys to come join the test. We'd be getting distracted by all sorts of things. We wouldn't be able to focus. We wouldn't be able to get things done. Why do you go to a lab and it's all white? What are they doing there? The focus you can't have patterns and all this other stuff. Not that there's anything wrong with that when you're trying to, you know, just enjoy the moment or whatever. But when you're attempting to focus in, much like zooming in, wow, it's gorgeous though. You have to eliminate distractions, which is really just lowering entropy. You create a very neat space. And then by encoding it with the hashtag time machine, I'm giving it a direction, which is time machine. Time machine is the destination. What is in a time machine? The future, the past, data. And so it becomes encoded with the operation of data progression. And then, of course, it allows iteration. So because I'm in a ubiquitous space using ubiquitous objects, I'm able to iterate more directly It's kind of like if you were trying to hammer a nail in and just getting the perfect strike every time. Well, that wasn't as cool as I wanted it to be, but basically. Anyway, so the hover core is something that I'm kind of using this as a model to iterate on. I'm tempted to write core on it. Maybe the core is different. Hover CR. Of course, you know, you're very welcome, Suave. So part of the I've been leaving stuff open. Part of the interesting aspect, we'll just use some, and the slime I think is actually pre-encoded fourth dimensionally. Let's see what we can add on here. See, this right now to me is sort of representing maybe a future cold module that we have attached here. Whoa, what was that? That was gorgeous. Somebody dropped a Saint something. I really love the premium. I love any gift. You know, it's cool to see stuff pop up, but there's some beautiful ones on here. I think that's one thing TikTok is doing a great job of. Thank you for that. Cold module, and then there's also going to be a heat module on here somewhere separate, and you'll be able to. That's actually going to be one of the main two modes. I've started iterating on some ideas. There'll be two main modes of the time machine, which is hot and cold. The hover suit, sorry, which is hot and cold. And as we get more into it, those will be more obvious. I mean, on the most basic sense, if you're in, you know, if you're on the equator, you'll be turning on the cold version of it more often. But of course, depending on your situation, there could be reasons to use the hot or cold modules more, which is the main sort of interaction that we have with gravity, is sort of temperature, which gravity manages excellently here on Earth. Interesting. This will most likely be attached to the writer, so I'm gonna need some sort of model so I can really begin experimenting exactly what the hover suit is going to be, because I mean, really this is kind of out of scale, but it might be actually to scale with the hoverboard. Only question is, if you got something this big on you, I was thinking smaller, maybe like 1980s cell phone size, that could just be on your, that you could have reattaching on your waist and whatnot, but that might not hold enough capacity. We might need something more of that scale, now that I'm actually thinking about it. Which, of course, if you had a hover bag, that might not be a problem at all. One thing it kind of gives me ideas a little bit on is the hover suit itself. Well, you know what? I need one hover wrap. I'll be right back. Fortunately, I had to acquire some new stuff. But I'm thinking the material for the hover suit, how will it charge up? That's a good question. So, I mean, much like with electric cars, there's probably going to be some infrastructure work, which is also why I want a Kenya Bodega, because I think gas stations are just, you know, they're even resisting electric chargers, which is just like, okay, come on. We don't have time for this, you guys. You know, we're not out here forever. So if we want the future to go down, Julian Perez, what's up? You guys, the leader, if that's the same, it must be the same Julian Perez. The leader of the new 8-league team, the Jarheads. And he's coming in, he's basically coming in as the LeBron of the league because everyone voted him for, what, 25 points on the first video? Which is amazing, which is freaking amazing. Just getting some extra hover wrap here. I think we have some iterations. This is becoming one of my fast becoming one of my most useful materials. True hoverability. Look at the hover components of it. It naturally has so much natural hover to it. But I was more bringing it in here just to experiment briefly and kind of absorb some of its properties. Have you thought of carbon fiber? Not too much. I'll definitely look into that more. But I'm really thinking as far as the hover suit, this is basically what we're going for on the external. So I'm going to have to find brands and or methods of application. Because even with the shoes I'm getting, they're cloth on the outside. But to be truthful, I'd like them fully coated in this sort of material, premium propulsion material. It really isn't hover in itself. In my conceptualization, this would actually be more fifth dimensional, not more fifth dimensional. It's literally fifth dimensional. But the easiest way to get to the 10th dimension is to counteract, or the easiest way to hover, I should say, which is the same thing as 10th dimension, in my opinion, is to go 5 plus 5. So if you're using fuel, like a rocket, if you're using fuel to escape the atmosphere, obviously, that is hover. You can hover. I've never really seen any aircraft that they intentionally made to just hover. I was going to do another hoverboard test, but that's not even what we're up to right now. So, I actually need some real scissors if I'm going to work with this. But the Time Machine Lab always comes in handy. Collecting a sample. This is really just a fantastic material. To think that we have such vast supplies of it here on Earth too, because of all of our grocery shopping. The question is, how can we harvest it plainly or regularly, consistently? I'm really just checking for dynamic properties, the most basic kinds. You know, people always think that you have to be doing something absolutely crazy to be making progress. Really, that's not true. First things first, you need to identify your resources, which seem infinite, but it's just not true. How'd you know that was a Walmart bag? Did you detect the Walmart gray from that bag? That's pretty impressive. Do people have such a profound relationship? I kind of wish. Okay, we'll fold that back. That way we can put this tape on the back rather than the front. It's not a bad mock-up of the hover core. I actually kind of like the idea of doing a super cooled slime cooling component and then using the copper to ferry that around. Only thing that I'm thinking about is, as good of a conductor as copper is, let's go ahead and put this on the hoverboard and see if, sometimes you never know, there could be incremental improvements. Not to mention the time machine. Another thing that this is sort of helping me to iterate on is the concept of the copper connections, because I really haven't thought about that too much. I'm like, okay, you don't want to be connected to the board, but you want the copper to be able to, this one's touching this piece of copper. Anyway, as I was saying, as good of a conductor as copper is, it's not just going to suck the heat out of. That's actually more, whoops, accurate to how this setup would probably be, because you'd really have to have a connection from the writer's side or back. What the heck? Okay. Anyway, just getting some ideas. But yeah, I mean, it's fascinating. Thinking of how we're actually gonna have to do some research on this stuff. I really don't invent as much as you would think, because most of the data is already out there. I really kind of think of myself as a data rearranger. You know, it's like on a pedestrian level, I'm just rearranging what already exists until it does something, you know, a little bit better. You know, you'd think people would have really just figured out everything, but people are busy. They haven't tried everything. They have not tried everything. And some of the best stuff they haven't tried. You know what I'm saying? There's someone out there who's never really made a pesto grilled cheese. You know what I mean? Right now I'm sort of testing the concept of the cooling on the hoverboard. I will be right back. Excellent. Alrighty. Yo, what's up, Gavin? How have you been? You haven't submitted any video with your time machine. That is the only true way to activate it. A time machine without recording it is, it's still somewhat of a time machine, but Kenya Bodega, where you can charge your hoverboard. It's interesting. So you got the hover core there. Now the boots, I haven't really figured it out, but I mean, there's going to be basically copper plates up here on the board, and then the boots will be, have their own copper pieces connect to the pants. There's some just basic connection going all the way up to the hover core here, which will be either at the back or the side, and that'll go through the jacket, also connecting only just through touch. And the jacket will be connected to the belt, and the belt So everything, the copper is going to need to run through the whole suit as it's going to be the connection point. I wonder what kind of sort of electric force we could run through the suit without causing any sort of negative effects. I mean, we could just insulate the rider from the electricity, though. I could see a lot of people having a problem with being constantly electrically charged, just moving around. But I mean, it's not that big of a deal. You're a little bit electric charged anyway, you know, just from life. Please don't add electricity. Oh, we're not going to be using anything too crazy. I mean, not off the rip. I do think electric motors have gotten to the point where you can really actually get some good propulsion out of them. And Julian, I should say again, I don't know if he's still in here, but from the Jarheads, he's proven he's adding that flavor really to my mind, especially. I also need to do some more copper research because I think there might be a key in there to us being able to really harness nutricity, which I'm going to let this encode. This is brand new. Wow, just fell apart. I'm so excited the hover boots are coming, so there's going to be more hover suit work to be done. And I'm going to have to go super macro for that, so we'll see what ends up being next. But, let's see. The teleporter, which is currently living on one of our acrylic labs. So yesterday I did discover teleportation core. That essentially we can think of the teleporter model. The issue I'm having right now, what I want to do next is iterate specifically on the sender first and then the receiver, because what I've already discovered, even casually dabbling with teleportation, as I was talking about before, at our current power levels, it's really just going to be advanced forms of both shipping and travel. And so this version, this side of the teleporter, needs to be able to be completely portable, and really they're not connected. You know, that was only, I mean, I could do a version also of the teleporter that I'm thinking about, which would be for objects more than anything else, where you send basically a three-dimensional snapshot of electrons, literally just through wires. Basically taking the same way kind of we do, and this is far-fetched, honestly, probably impossible, but the same way we do Morse code, but just doing that times a cool trillion, and just making a physical object in one, so you still couldn't move, faster than the speed of light. I don't know how fast electrons move in a wire, but I said it was far-fetched. Why would I okay, so anyone who's like, oh my gosh, please, you are doing too much. It's too much. Please relax. Relax. Absolutely relax. It's not that serious. But what I'd like to iterate is either just the sender or the receiver. This really is actually a good model for the electron version, though. It's just that the lattices would have to be, motorized and three-dimensional. Right now they're at best 2.35 dimensional. You appreciate the work, Dylan. Thank you so much. Can someone diagnose him? I mean, no, I don't think they can. You know, I don't think doctors work for free. We are for the market. If we destroy the economy, what was this work for? Oh, someone's having a deep conversation. This changes things. I tune in nightly, by the way. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. All right. So let's grab more of our. Where's my hover material? Because I think there's a lot more work we can do. Huh. I don't know what I do with it. Well, I have a good amount left, so it's weird that it just disappeared. Anyway, first things first. Let's take it from the time machine to the. Actually, I'm going to need about half of this. Let's go ahead and test this. I like how easy it is to move now. That is a good sign. Getting so much good data on this material right now. No matter what, this test is producing head over heels. Head over heels. Just off of the data. Off of this material. Stay around neutrinos. Alright. Don't really need to keep that steady anymore since we're literally hovering. This whole thing, the whole teleporter is hovering at this point. Which is a useful concept, to be honest. I think I'm going to need my charger in a second here. Alright, so as I was saying, we discovered that the teleporter model is really as such, which is a connection of ports between which personal travel is engaged, right? So the issues that we have with teleportation as human beings are the same issues that we have, are the integral, really, of the same issues that we have on a daily basis, right? So on a daily basis, as you travel throughout the world, a bunch of different things happen. Basically, the teleporter is a snapshot of all those things at once, which is why the hover suit is necessary, you know, to insulate you. And the reason why I said that's mostly temperature is because temperature is what? The speed of the fourth dimensional force carriers, the atoms. It's just how fast atoms are hitting you, right? Which is in itself a sort of integral of your travel, though. Anyway, so the question becomes, I'm just freestyling right now. Let me not pretend like I knew what I was going to say, but what is the question becoming is what I should say. Well, actually, I knew what I was going to say. The question becomes, what is the nature of that travel externally and internally? So maybe we can create, the board. Let's see here. Where's the, oh, I just used that up, okay. just got a good idea. Okay, one step at a time. One step at a time. Nano lattice? I haven't tried that, no. Probably needs to flip the flabbernacle over to go on the twist of the country until it's hard enough. Hey, that sounds about right, I'm gonna be honest with you. Sounds about right. Just don't want to waste material here. Fortunately, we're in a whole acrylic station. Interesting. You get it? See, so we got 3D core array plus a literal integral of a hoverboard. Really, I mean, the 13th dimension, I understand if it's too much for some people because anyway, 3-dimensional 7D core array. Yeah, that's basically plus the hover suit, right? I mean, where's our? I'm missing one of our hover bands. I just need to be fully encoded. Fully encoded. Huh. Seems to have absconded. Perhaps it teleported. Oh no, there it is. Oh no, that's not it. That's the lower band. Still have the bosons. Huh. Let me just make one really quick, or else I'm gonna be looking around forever. Fortunately, like I said, ubiquitous materials. It's the benefit of building inside of a time machine of time machines. There's really no faster decay, and you know, it's really the decay of your first idea that's going to give you the energy to move to the next idea. But if you stay stuck, oh, I'm writing the whole wrong thing on this. I'm writing time machine. If you stay stuck on your first idea because it seems like it's working, you're going to miss out on the second to third iterations. And those ones, I mean, it only gets better, to be honest, no matter how high you go in the iterations. That's another reason a time machine is necessary. You can do it enough times. People just don't do stuff enough times. Everything you're good at, you did it enough times. But everything else, you're just like, ah, once is good enough. Teleporter 13. Just a quick teleportation band, like this one right here. Really, the sender and the receiver were supposed to have one, but I don't know what happened to the. Let's pull this back so it can sort of be on nice curled up so you can naturally stay as the housing there. Anyway, it just helps in the model building if everything is operating at least on last best principles. Wow. The hover slime is still an untapped invention, to be honest with you. Okay. And so the teleporter that exists between the two teleporters is really the root. So what is the root? It's a continuous linear version of the teleporter. In the same way, a car, or the way we use vehicles, is not that relevant without roads. I mean, obviously you can off-road to a certain degree, but it's just part of the thing. If you're being practical about the intervals. Because the thing about the space between spaces is it's not some sort of metaphor. It's its own universe. Not even technically causally related. Really, one thing I'm getting from this one is the ubiquity of hover everywhere. There's 3-dimensional objects, 10-dimensional internal fields, or 10-dimensional standing fields around each. That's what we're doing when we create the hover. Oh, I know this one's really hard to explain, guys. This is really for advanced level hoverheads at this point, because this is like the teleporter is really like the PhD class for the hoverheads. Those who kind of at least gleaned some of the process, even though we never really did this many lives until recently. If we were to condense at this point the teleporter. Dang, okay, that's pretty cool. Oh man, this already right here, it's perfectly encoding right now. It's actually, it was wonderfully complex. It gets wonderful. This right here is one of the most complex devices that I'm probably ever going to work on. This is obviously, an analog 4D shadow of the actual model of the actual prototype of the actual teleporter. But the data is all there. The data is fully all there. Maximally cool. Pretty interesting. So it becomes, oh. Let's see, that's not even going to be, oh, it's actually going a lot easier than I thought it was going to. Interesting. See, the entire teleporter itself might even be a single hovering unit. Interesting. Oh man, that would make it absolutely insane. But if we think about it, really break down what hover is. Yeah, there's a bunch of different ways that could go down. So the root itself has to hover. Wow. That makes things infinitely more difficult. Unless, I mean, I can probably bring it back down to earth. By going for virtual hover there as well. So this is why the research with the hoverboard is so important, because that technology has infinite applications, and the teleporter is going to be one of the more complex applications of the actual science of the hoverboard. 7D core arrays, I mean, those are basically going to be your feedback systems, your artificial feedback systems. Everywhere, you know, the hoverboard is the initial demonstration of the artificial feedback, and it's an analog, you know, feedback system. But it's, and we can go analog on all of it, really. I mean, you could have a fully analog teleporter. To be honest, we're not going to go analog. We're not going to go analog. I mean, the analog would be pretty cool. To be straight up, we really could just go analog on the whole thing. It would just be really complicated, but really cool. You know, lately I've been seeing those people who like skate across Africa, for instance, skate across America. What is that? What is that? That's just the most, that's even proto-analog teleportation, right? Because you're framing it as what? Across America. Just because you turn your teleporter down to negative 3.5 teleportinos doesn't mean it's not a teleporter. You know, a sheet of paper can be a teleporter. It's just that you're going to be moving like a sheet of paper. It's complex. Too complex. I'm glad we started early. Because I think, I don't know if, I mean, we could push the test further, but what's the pink stuff? Teleportino macro node. The blue is the teleporton macro node. That's just some highly conjecturous thoughts that I was having. So it's just to get all the data out, you know, all at once. The question, it just, I mean, we're asking ourselves questions with what we have here. You know, we have a lot of questions to answer. And see, the data is even in the construction and the maintenance levels that are going to be required, and the relative decay rates that we're going to be expecting in operation. So there's a lot of things firing from so much data. Whoever said that, you know exactly what's going on. There's really just a cacophony of bits coming from each and every direction. Are you the smartest guy in the world? Oh, no, come on. I don't even think I'm in the top 20K. I mean, that's not that humble, considering that there's billions of people on the planet, but that's as far down as I can go. No, I'm just joking. Put me at, if I'm out of everybody on the planet, put me at 3,500,000. 500K. I'm the 3 millionth smartest person, I think. I think there's probably a cool Just because if there weren't so many billions, I would probably go a little higher. But all right, anyway. Oh, this might be the. Let's see what's going on here. Okay. So this broke down. Yeah, I mean, all in all, a teleporter is essentially, you know, the derivative of a rocket launch. I mean, a NASA rocket launch. So, in you know, it's like the frame rate's less, but essentially we are. I mean, skipping all unused frames. So at this point, it's just like. It's too risky even sharing it with you. I mean, it's the data's all there, but it's highly encoded. You know, you would have had to have been time machining for the amount of time I've had to really be able to crack it. Or I mean, you could just copy it verbatim, but then you're basically just a freelance intern at that point, and I accept it. I accept it. But yeah, because I mean, we're going for basically analog. The copper is literally stabilizing it, but it's also, you know, just a stand-in for the, not a stand-in, I mean, it's standing in for itself. Because, well, there's essentially layers to everything. Whether you're doing batteries, it's interesting, you know, by the time I'm done with this, I might be able to better categorize what's really going on with electronics because, you know, you have your copper heavy bros, right? Which is basically anything that you can't use wood and plastic for. So it's like your basic batteries, your different conductive situations. All those are going to be copper systems. So it's really just like a pre-map of the copper systems that are going to be laid down, the plastic systems, and the wood paper systems. I still think wood is underused, but I mean, it is used pretty heavily, so it's overused in some circumstances, but underused in high performance circumstances. All right, you guys, I think that's going to be at 25K likes, 25.1K likes. Well, it's always a pleasure with the hoverheads. Let me read some stuff before I head out of here. You need something to charge the copper. Yeah, that is true. Solar panels are coming soon, you guys. Solar panels are coming soon, and batteries. So, it's not going to be too much longer. Don't leave, Daniel. Come on, I'm out of here. So, get over it. No, I'm just joking. Pradhan, what? Just say, drop a comment so I can see what you're talking about. What would you say your IQ is? I have no idea. How does it work? It's basically just think about travel squared. You know, you're just traveling in this version of the teleporter. This is kind of mapping out. I've discovered, you know, plastic bags, grocery bags, the material that they're made out of is basically like a solid state gasoline, solid state fuel. And it's very useful. It basically has standing anti-grav properties, which allows you. You could never deal with slimes this easily, right? But it's because the molecules of petroleum are just, they're perfectly hover, bro. This is what makes them such a good fuel. Perfectly hover. That's the best way I can. Perfectly energetic. So that's why that's there. Be careful with the wood. Its splinters can cause combustion. Yeah, that's true. But I mean, there's so many ways we can treat it. Add more slime to help simulate the distortion of space. Would you say your IQ is? Let me go to the most recent one. Sorry. You have to re-ask your question because I got 47 behind somehow. What kind of science is this? I call it tempology. I've sort of invented my own type of science. But, and it's really the study of time and how you can use and, basically use time. Do things fourth-dimensionally instead of three-dimensionally. Because the data is usually there, unless you're trying to do something, I don't know. But please say yes. Yes to what? What are what? CK says no. Do you do this full time? No. No. You can only do so much science in a day. I limit it to about 2 hours, 2.5 hours, which is actually kind of a lot now that I think about it, but I try to make it shorter all the time. Now the biggest time is really just going live with the overheads. You potatoes since, I don't know what, potatoes, that's not a bad idea. I had to do some research into that again. Have you made progress? Oh yeah. Is this satire? No. So, that's what you wanted me to say yes to. No, sorry. Hope you're okay. Did you gain your parents' respect after they saw the following? No. They're Nigerian parents. The following to them, they're like, who's following who? Follow Jesus. But anyway, go off grid. Oh, that's the goal. Well, not really. I realized that I like the second level of suburb. That's about as far as I like to be. Any further, because right after that, you're in like the first level of country. If you've ever played SimCity, you know what I'm talking about. But it's like, you get to the rural. I like right before the super rural housing, before you've like left the last stage of suburb. I want to be I like right before the first quarter of the second stage of suburb. That's where I like to be. Because I don't want to be in the city. I don't really care that much about anything that people are doing in mass. It's not that interesting. Though there's benefits. You go to New York, right? Like, you can get really cool Chinese food, but the costs to me are way too high on a long-term basis. For me, I understand other people are chilling, but I want a little bit of space, just not a ton of space. Sell a course? No. Also like Albert Einstein with his theories. Jay, you can't date me, so just give it up, my guy. Potatoes could work pretty well in tri-dimensional waves. I have to look into the potatoes. But anyway, let me see if there's anything I can extract from this. I mean, just the fifth dimensional components tell a story. This is my stand-in for the hoverboard. But anyway, so much data. Really, there's nothing but data here. This right here, by itself, if I did nothing else, I could just make heaps and heaps of this and distribute it. People will find so many uses for it. The innovator, exactly, Hunter. Alright, you guys, though. It's time to, rest times rest equals science. My bro said it correctly. You guys got me to 25k likes, and I appreciate that. I appreciate the shares, and just all the love. You guys stay even safer. Don't let anything anything get you out of believing in yourself. I know there's a lot. But just find a way to chill at the end of the day. You know, get your gratification out of chilling out. You know, no matter how dank or dense it gets, just chill out. Chill out. I know sometimes you don't want to chill, especially when you don't want to chill and you're fully worked up. You've got to chill. Trust me, the best thing. Oh man, just chill out. All right, get some rest, you guys, and have a great Sunday. Stay blessed, stay happy, stay healthy. There's a lot more to do here. The science has just begun. Hover heads.